Morgan, and today I wanted to talk about something that is very deeply important to me and that I think really affects me as a disabled person. And that is that different people with disabilities prefer different terminology, and that's 100% okay. I remember back when I was in college, I had to take an introduction to literature course for my degree, and in that class we had to read, I remember that I had to read an essay about this woman with multiple sclerosis, and she described herself as crippled. She used the word crippled to describe herself. And to me, as someone who grew up in the 2000s, it's that was a word that I found I didn't like that word because it felt deeply negative. And but at the same time, it's I understand now that it's okay, well, why does being disabled have to be a bad thing? Why is there so much stigma around this language? If she wants to reclaim this word and feels that it accurately describes her and the lived experiences that she is going through, that's okay. And the same, this got brought up in my mind because recently I've stumbled upon some content of people trying to, I guess I would describe it as policing the words or policing the terminology of, and trying to speak for the entire autistic community, and being talking about how people shouldn't use the puzzle piece as a symbol or something, or that they prefer using either a person with autism or autistic person and stuff like that, where it's just different people have different preferences and different words mean different things to them, to themselves, and that is 100% okay. We should be respectful of the terminology that a disabled or differently abled or neurodiverse or any other person with something different about them prefers to use. We should be respectful of the fact that different people have different lived experiences, and that there isn't necessarily ever going to be one size fits all solution. A word that I love to describe, love to use to describe myself, could be one that someone else would absolutely loathe. And two, I would also say this is especially true for people who are neurodiverse, etc. Back when I was a child, one of the words used, an official diagnosis type word, was Asperger syndrome. And a lot of people do not like that word because of its connotation with the Nazis, who are not very nice people and very, very bad. But at the same time, it's a lot of autistic individuals don't do well with change, and if they were diagnosed under that terminology, they may still choose to use that word to describe themselves. But that doesn't mean that in any way, shape, or form that they have any support for Hans Asperger. That does not, oftentimes people will use terminology for deeply personal reasons that aren't meant to be hurtful to the rest of the community, etc. So I wanted to briefly talk about how it's how do I put this? Some people prefer the word autistic or a person with autism or neurodiverse, and then some people with disabilities prefer to be called disabled or differently abled, and some people reclaim words like crippled. People all different types of there are people with all different types of choices and preferences of what they like, and it can be deeply personal. And I just want to say that I feel it's extremely important to respect the choices, the preferred words that someone uses, even if it may go against what the current politically correct or social pressure is. We should respect people as individuals and people's individual choices. So yeah, thank you for listening to my thoughts on this topic, and I really hope that you have a great day. Bye!